Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Wednesday, March 22nd. Ian Cameron, we got Billy Briz. Dutch will be along momentarily as well. We're here for a huge Wednesday card. It's a big one. We got 10 games. Let's get it going. Denver, Washington to get the party started. Denver, 8-point road favorites, 226.5, 227 being the total here in this game. Denver Nuggets, a team that, they've been obviously having a very good season overall. Lately, though, not so good for the Denver Nuggets. Just 2-5 straight up, that is, in their last 7 games. And, on this road trip, they've gone loss, win so far through the first 4 games, losing to the Raptors, beating the Pistons, losing to the Knicks, and then beating Brooklyn last game 108-102. We'll see if they can end this road trip with a victory. They'd have a winning road trip if they win tonight. So I expect the Nuggets to want to have a good finish to this 4-game road swing. They don't play again until it looks like Saturday against Milwaukee. I believe that might be an ABC game. We'll have to see, but definitely back home against the Bucks. Looking at this road trip strong. Washington's a team that's definitely struggling at the moment. Other than a 20-point win against Detroit, they've had a tough time. 1-6 straight up their last 7. 0-3 in their last 3 straight up in ATS losses at Cleveland, home to Sacramento, and then 10-point loss at Orlando. So hasn't been good here the last few games for this Wizards team. Looks like Bradley Beal game time decision tonight with a left knee injury, and Kyle Kuzma already ruled out for the Wizards tonight due to an ankle injury. So I'd probably prefer the Denver side, but it's not a team I'm rushing to lay 8 with. So I look at props, if anything, in this game more than a side or a total. Billy, what do you think? Denver, Washington.
Yeah, with the Kyle Kuzma news and the Bradley Beal, I think Bradley Beal's probably not going to play tonight. This is a one-way traffic street on the betting markets too. 80% of the money line tickets are coming in on the Denver Nuggets. So people are parlaying up the Denver Nuggets and they're backing them on the spread here. It's just lane 8 with the Denver Nuggets hasn't really been that profitable for me personally in my bank account this year. So I don't think I want to do it. If I did play this, I would probably lean towards Denver first half. Player prop wise, if Bradley Beal is going to be out for this one, Morris over 15.5 points and assists would probably be a good look, minus 130. I see that getting a little bit steam right now. And Kristaps Porzingis under 7.5 rebounds. If you want to get a little bit greasy tonight, he's under 7.5 rebounds, 7 out of his last 11 games. Denver allows the fewest rebounds per game in the NBA. So not a good spot for Kristaps Porzingis on the rebounds. And would we ever bet Kristaps Porzingis double-doubles? It's just very rare. Why not take the under?
I like, I'll go to someone here for the prop tonight, and that's Corey Kispert, the Gonzaga product for Washington. We've seen his production increase lately.
Though the other night, though.
No, the other night was the exception. That's true. But prior to that, I mean, he's been consistently getting into the high teens, even had a 20-point game recently as well for the Washington Wizards. So I don't mind the look to Kispert here over his point prop tonight. That's definitely the prop that stood out to me on the Washington side. As far as the Nuggets go, maybe MPJ possibly tonight. Everyone's healthy, everyone's playing. MPJ's in, KCP's in, Jamal and Joker are in too. So
shouts to Mike M in the chat. He says over spot here. What's your opinions on the over under? I mean, 226.5 seems like a little bit low. Do you want to isolate it with just a Denver team total over, not have to really worry about the spread? Because I mean, with all those guys out for Washington, I would imagine their offensive production has to go down a little bit.
It will go down, but Denver's defense sometimes doesn't show up, especially on the road. So you know what I do? I do a Nuggets team total over and a full game over split. Is probably what I would do. And I think you could cash both of them, but certainly I don't think you go 0-2 betting those. So that's definitely the way I would probably play it, is full game over split with the Nuggets team total over as well.
And with the trends in the chat says Wizards 6-0 towards the over, 29-3 over spots for me. Mike M's got those trends.
And most of them have been pretty good for Mike M if you've been following him lately. Indiana and Toronto, we've got the Raptors 9-point favorites here, 234 the total here in this one. The Raptors, of course, this team has had a really grueling schedule when you look at who they've had to play, right? Milwaukee, Minnesota, Denver, Lakers, Clippers, Denver again. I mean, they've had some tough teams really since the beginning of March. So it's going to start to ease up a little bit here, starting with Indiana tonight, who are kind of struggling. They've lost 2 in a row. The Pacers, I thought they were still going to beat Charlotte minus Ty Halliburton the other night, but they coughed it up in the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing. And it looks like tonight Tyrese Halliburton he's not been ruled out yet, but he's questionable, which is an upgrade considering he's missed the last
Honestly.
5 games for the Pacers. So we'll see if he's in there. Toronto's a little bit banged up too. Scotty Barnes is a game-time decision, and Gary Trent as well. So keep an eye on that for the Raptors. It looks like Barnes is questionable with a left wrist.
I don't think Barnes plays.
Yeah, I don't know if he will either. The wrist injury is very delicate, right? You want to be cautious with that.
Especially with how young he is and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I feel like all the betting markets you could just see what certain Raptor player props are getting steamed.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a real possibility he doesn't play. Same thing with Trent with the right elbow, because again, and he's a very important shooting option for the Raptors. So, there's a potential he doesn't go. So read the market here. This is a tough game to bet right now because we don't know if Halliburton's going to play, and we don't know if 2 key Raptors are going to play here in this game tonight. I think if everybody's on the court here, if Halliburton's in, I like the over. If Halliburton's out, I'd probably lean under because, look, Indiana's not an over team without Halliburton. We saw it against Charlotte. That game stayed under. So I'd probably lean under, and probably Toronto becomes appealing without Halliburton. But even then, 9-point favorites, pretty rich for the Raptors. What do you think here, Billy?
God, I mean, you coming from a Raptors fan, right?
Well, it is. I mean, they're not a team I would really love to lay 9 points with. No.
Especially at home. I mean, the only angle that you would really want to take here is, I mean, the Pacers are probably like the worst first quarter team in the NBA. Maybe get in, get out. Raptors first quarter. I don't really know how they've been ATS first quarter wise, but I think like theoretically that would be the way to attack this one. Mike M says the under 27-1 spot locked in 234.5 earlier. Cash leaning towards the over slightly, but it isn't moving. I don't blame you. I like the player props in this one. If we give me no Scotty Barnes, you got to hit Freddie Van Elite tonight because he's going to see a 3.9% usage bump and plus 2.5 points and assists per 36 minutes without Barnes on the court. Both leads the Raptors. Should be in line for 38 plus minutes, and he has hit this over in 5 out of his last 7 and 2 out of his last 2 games without Scotty Barnes tonight. Very streaky player overall, though, so I wouldn't put the most amount of money on it, but definitely the trend would say to play Freddie Van Vliet tonight.
And if you're looking at a trend, PRA for TJ McConnell for the Pacers, 5 straight games over points, rebounds, and assists for TJ McConnell right now for the Indiana Pacers. So that's a prop that stands out to me. I like where Bo Jackson's going. It makes a lot of sense, that angle. Benedict Mathurin, a Canadian, playing in Canada tonight, in Toronto. There's something to that. He'd want to play well. He'd want to make an impact. All those guys get excited to play in Toronto. Doesn't matter if it's Kelly Olynyk. Doesn't matter if it's SGA, Luguentz Dort, any Canadian that plays the Raptors in Toronto. It's kind of exciting. You get your playing in front of your home country. So definitely those Canadian NBA players, I'm looking at them when they play in Toronto. They're props, no question. So Benedict Mathurin for that reason out of Montreal, he might be a good look with over points tonight for Indiana, and he's had a nice season. All right, Golden State, Dallas. Golden State, 1.5-point road favorites, 236 the total. Let's give the Warriors credit. They finally won on the road, and they finally covered on the road, although it was close, and they needed a huge fourth quarter to do it against the lowly Houston Rockets. But they did get it done the other night. They won by 13 as 11-point road favorites. Can they win and cover 2 in a row now on the road? That ends up being the big question. As always with the Dallas Mavericks, God, what a frustrating team. You just don't know if you're going to get Luka in or not, if you're going to get Kyrie in or not, if you're going to get both, or if you're going to get neither. I mean, that is what you get game in and game out with Dallas. You're never quite sure. The latest we can say about it is Luka has been upgraded to probable with a thigh injury, so it looks like he's playing tonight. Kyrie, not so much. Questionable, downgraded to questionable with the foot injury. So he had missed 3 straight games because of it. He's played the last 2 games against the Lakers and the Grizzlies, but officially questionable here for this game. And when Kyrie's out, the guy that I've been going to is Josh Green's one. Jaden Hardy's the other guy. Jaden Hardy props with the Dallas Mavericks. It's all usage. Someone's got to pick up the slack with Kyrie out, and Josh Green and Jaden Hardy have been the go-to with either Luka, Kyrie, or both out. Those have been big prop looks for me with the Dallas Mavericks. So keep an eye on this lineup situation. It's fluid. Maybe it changes again before tip-off, but if you get Luka, well, Luka's going to play, it looks like. But if you get Kyrie out, that makes Green and or Hardy the next option, probably offensively. Plus, Tim Hardaway is no guarantee to play tonight for Dallas either. So some prop looks for sure.
Tim Hardaway literally just got ruled out.
Who did?
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, there you go. So that
Literally like
takes
30 seconds ago.
perfect. What an update. Thanks for that, Billy. Yeah, definitely Green and Hardy are certainly on the radar for me with Kyrie out if he does not play tonight against the Warriors. As far as the side goes, I mean, I'm not ready to lay, on the road with Golden State. Yeah, they did it against Houston, but playing a little bit better basketball team. I'd have to lean Dallas still as a home dog, especially now Luka's playing, and we know he can single-handedly, carry things for Dallas. What do you think here, Billy? Warriors, Mavericks?
I mean, fading the Warriors on the road has just been an auto cash ticket. You give me Luka Doncic. This might be something that I add on my early card. I did not know Luka was going to be in for this one until like an hour and a half ago. To be honest with you, I don't give a fuck if Kyrie's in or out. You give me Luka Doncic against the Warriors on the road. I think the Dallas gets it done tonight. Dallas plus money, home dogs. Definitely has my betting interest. Definitely something that I'm thinking about. I already have money on a ESPN doubleheader tonight. I don't know if I want to be sweating out both games. Those aren't the best nights.
Yeah, exactly. This is the first game. Yeah, the late game, of course, is Suns and Lakers. So this is the first of the TNT doubleheader tonight. All right, Knicks and Heat. Miami, 2-point home favorites. 224.5 being the total here in this one. It looks like for the Heat, Kyle Lowry's always a game time decision, so we ignore that. Questionable, but it looks like he's going to play. But it looks like Vincent, Hero, Butler, Love, and Adebayo still your starting five. Everybody's healthy for the Knicks right now, so give them credit for that. Although that was a bit of a sloppy performance against Minnesota, that was definitely a team that didn't bring their best. Maybe lack of focus. Reading their press clippings a little bit with the nice little run they put together, but they were not sharp against the Timberwolves. Not great defensively, 140-134. They lost that game. I'd expect a pretty good bounce back, though, from the Knicks. They were playing pretty good basketball before that. Miami, are they starting to pick it up? They played better here their last 4 games. They have home wins against Utah and Memphis. They lost at Chicago, bounced back the very next night against the Pistons. We'll see if they can roll that over here into this game tonight. I like the Knicks a little bit here at +2. I got to admit, I think they'll just play a lot better tonight in this game. And as far as the props go, I'm going back to my guy, Emmanuel Quickley. How can I not? Holy shit. 8 of the last 10, he's gone over that point total. He cashed another prop the other night. There's a lot of props that cashed the other night. Hell, there was 274 points in that game, Timberwolves and Knicks. But Quickley was an easy winner. He's been undervalued in his point prop market for a long time now. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Back we go to the Emmanuel Quickley well for the New York Knicks tonight. Billy, what do you think here? Knicks and Heat.
I mean, dog, the Heat have been abysmal at home. 9-22 and 2 ATS at home is absolutely horrible. Knicks are 16-10 ATS as a road dog. Historically, the Knicks usually play better on the road than they do at home. I'm right there with you with Banner. I kind of do lean towards the Knicks +2. Player prop wise, one of those 2 rebound props for the Heat are probably going to go one's going to go over, one's going to go under. I think Bam Adebayo goes under 8.5 rebounds. It's already juiced at -125. He's under 10 out of his last 13 games with Kevin Love in the lineup, and the Knicks are the 4th best rebounding team since Mitchell Robinson returned from injury. But I think Kevin Love goes over his 5.5 rebounds at -120, 6.4 rebounds per game on Miami. Team high 16.8 rebound percentage. And I think Bam's going to be on Randall. Randall shoots a lot of 3-pointers, so it's going to leave Love to be able to get rebounds. He had 8 rebounds and 13 rebound chances versus New York earlier in their last game. So I think he should be able to capitalize in the spot tonight. A little bit of a low prop here for Kevin Love.
All right, we got San Antonio, Milwaukee. Bucks laying a huge number, 17.5-point home favorites here. 238 is the total in this. I totally agree with the over move. I mean, I really think this is a night where Milwaukee scores at will against San Antonio like most teams do, but I don't know if they're going to have that defensive intensity. They go on a long road trip after this game, the Milwaukee Bucks at Utah, and then they're out in Denver. They've got big games, a big road trip coming up for them. So this is not exactly a focus spot coming off a satisfying home win against Toronto, obviously, on Sunday. So I don't want to lay 17.5. But San Antonio has just been so embarrassingly pathetic on the road their last 2 road games. It's hard to take these points.
Been an ATM, man. The ATM fading San Antonio.
I mean, the last 2 road games, Billy, that's why I can't take San Antonio. It's a terrible spot. It's the mother of all flat spots for Milwaukee. I ain't laying 17.5 with them, but San Antonio, the last 2 road games, at Houston, lost by 32, at New Orleans, lost by 35. That's not a track record of a team I trust, like even getting 17.5 points. I mean, they've just been utterly non-competitive in these last 2 road games.
Facts,
So, yeah, so it's impossible to bet a side here. Don't want either one. I can't lay this many with Milwaukee. I don't want San Antonio. I do like the over. That does make sense. That's the best bet for me in this game, unless you like some props, which you very well might. What do you think here, Billy? Spurs Bucks?
I ain't betting no over with San Antonio. I mean, they barely put up 90 points last night, man. They look like a college basketball team out there playing. Made my money on San Antonio last night, had Pelicans as the play of the day. But I Backwood. What's the NBA pub-up show without the Backwood clip?
All right.
Especially with our guy Dutch, who's the king of the Backwood on the NBA pub-up, having connection issues right now. With his internet. Dutch, if you're out there, we hear you. You're having issues getting on today with the internet.
He's underwater in some pool in Las Vegas right now.
Yeah, he probably is. He might be going for an afternoon swim right now. And you're right, the Wi-Fi is just not good enough, not strong enough. So, Dutch, if you're there, we shout out to you on this Wednesday show. All right, Atlanta and Minnesota. We've got the Timberwolves here, 5-point favorites, 241. And a half the total. Obviously, this is a game where you can probably expect points galore. So definitely, I understand the total being this high. Atlanta's actually gone under their last 3: Golden State, San Antonio, and Detroit. But keep in mind, 236, 244, and 246. Some of those totals were sky high. 246 and 248 were the 2 totals against Golden State and San Antonio. So that's the reason they stayed under. Minnesota's been an over machine. They've gone over in 5 of their last 6 games. They're coming off a wild one against the Knicks, 140 to 134. This team, I'll tell you what, if you bet against this team off a win and a cover, you're doing pretty good because that's been their season in a nutshell, Minnesota. They win and cover the last game. Don't trust them to do it again, 2 games in a row. These 2 teams, by the way, they just played recently, 9 days ago. And I remember, I didn't bet it, but I thought it was a good spot for Atlanta. And they got drilled 136 to 115 by the Minnesota Timberwolves just 9 days ago in Atlanta. Now they're in Minnesota, and now we have the Timberwolves laying 5 here in this game. I kind of want to back Atlanta here, honestly, but then you look at the injury situation. Well, first of all, on the Minnesota side, Anthony Edwards is questionable, and that's huge. Obviously, that's 25 points per game. He's got an ankle injury. He's missed the last 2. He's questionable tonight for Minnesota. But on the Atlanta side of things, you've got DeJounte Murray ruled out for the Atlanta Hawks due to the illness. He was out of the Detroit game as well because of this. And Bogdan Bogdanovic as well, right now questionable due to a right knee injury. So there could be a shorthanded Atlanta team. But I'd still take Atlanta before. I don't want to lay points with Minnesota off a win. That's not been a positive expectation betting situation all year because of the nonstop inconsistency of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So after a big win like that in New York, that is not the thought that comes to mind is now is not the time to lay 5 points with the Minnesota Timberwolves in this spot. So I definitely am strongly leaning toward Atlanta plus the 5, especially in a revenge situation, but I'm waiting to get a little more clarity on their current injury situation prior to this game. Billy is back with us. What do you think here, Billy, with this one, Hawks and Timberwolves?
Yeah, the Wolves are a good home team, but recently their form has been horrible. I mean, they're 1-4 ATS in their last 5 home games, but the Hawks are 2-6 ATS in their last 8 road games and 0-4 in their last 4 in the second half of back-to-backs. No DeJounte Murray tonight. I mean, the T-Wolves are going to get Edwards back in this one. It's really hard to really know what to expect in this one, but my lean would probably be the Hawks full game spread, even without Murray in this one. But they're just not the best road team historically, so I don't know if I want to be putting my money on that.
I hear you on that. Atlanta's not always reliable on the road, but I really want to back them plus 5. I'm thinking of it.
I think it's a good spot. I think it's an Atlanta spot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, these are 2 teams. I'm never really thrilled to back either of these teams, but I just like the way it sets up for them. By the way, there's some props that are worth riding tonight. Jaden McDaniels, man, just bet this guy. It's been phenomenal. 6 straight games over points, 6 straight games over points and rebounds, 6 straight games over points, rebounds, and assists. Jaden McDaniels has really been a spark offensively for this Timberwolves team of late. So if you can bet his props, I'd say go for it here in this one. Trae Young's probably, I think over points for Trae makes sense because obviously DeJounte Murray, being out means Trey shoots the ball probably a little bit more. So Trey Young over points. I could see that in the game tonight for the Atlanta Hawks. So those are definitely the props that stand out to me here in this game. And like I said, the Jaden McDaniels streaking in terms of his props. Like I say, 6 straight, he's gone over everything. So Jaden McDaniels has really been playing good ball, hooping lately here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think there was someone else too that I was looking. It's made threes, by the way, for Jaden, have gone over in 4 straight games as well. So like I say, everything Jaden McDaniels makes sense to me. John Collins, he's the
I
other
don't
guy
think
for
he
Atlanta.
will be playing Jaden McDaniels tonight, though, because as everybody says in the chat, Karl-Anthony Towns is playing tonight.
Oh, really? Okay, let me see.
His injury.
He is. He is. Okay, that's
Shouts to
changes
Doris
everything.
Burke.
That changes everything because that basically now Karl-Anthony Towns has taken that small forward spot away now from Jaden McDaniels. So yeah, that changes a lot. This is definitely a downgrade in usage. Absolutely 100% for McDaniels tonight with Cat playing. So that is true. John Collins, though, I like, and Trey Young over points I like, though, for the Atlanta side tonight. John Collins prop have been cashing 3 straight with many of his player props. All right, Philadelphia and Chicago. The Sixers, 3.5-point road favorites, 221.5 the total in this game. The Philadelphia 76ers, they had one of those games too the other night. You know, that wasn't their best game. They just weren't. They didn't have their eyes on the prize. They didn't have their brains clicked in. Whatever you want to call it.
No, it was a Monday game, Babano. And you know, when you have a nice little weekend, sometimes you get a little bit lazy on a Monday.
And you play, a team that's not going to excite you, like playing a Brooklyn or Milwaukee or one of the Boston, one of those teams in New York. You play Chicago on a Monday night, and you're going to fall victim sometimes. I agree with that. This is the spot to back Philly, revenge spot. I think Chicago's inconsistent. When up one game, down the next. You don't necessarily, and plus you get a point spread that's reasonable here because it's on the road for Philadelphia as opposed to home. So, I do like the Sixers here, short number, laying the 3.5 here in this game for the Philadelphia 76ers coming off that loss to Chicago. I don't always love backing this team on the road, but I will give them credit. They're on a 6-game road win streak coming into tonight. Milwaukee, Indiana, Minnesota, Cleveland. That was a good win. That shows me they can win this game because they beat Cleveland on the road recently, Philadelphia. So I think it sets up well for them. I'll lay the short number with the Sixers tonight in this game against a very inconsistent, maddening Chicago Bulls team. And by the way, it looks like for the Bulls tonight, Caruso game time decision. On the Philadelphia side, it looks like it's Harden and Tucker that are game time decisions. Questionable ankle injury for Tucker. Harden.
I don't think James Harden's playing.
Yeah, left Achilles soreness is what they're saying about James Harden. So, but again, Embiid is in. That's the main thing, and he's a guy that can. And I like Embiid points again, which I've been talking about for how many games in a row now on this show. Joel Embiid points. Now, look, we did need overtime for him to get over 33.5 against Chicago the other night, but if Harden's out, he's going to want to score 40 tonight probably. So, again, no bargain. I get it, but over points for Joel Embiid right back to the well tonight. What do you think here, Billy? Philly, Chicago.
Yeah, I don't think James Harden's going to play tonight, so I like the player props in this one, specifically Joel Embiid. I mean, he's just beyond hot right now. He's gone over 33.5 points, 8 out of his last 10 games.
He wants that MVP. That's what it's all about.
He wants the MVP. Historically, he smashed the Bulls, 37 versus the Bulls on Monday, 35 in regulation, scored the 2 points in overtime. When it comes to the spread, it's hard to bet the Sixers again tonight with us just clinching the playoffs on Monday. But if Joel Embiid's inspired to make his first push for his MVP season, I think you got to back the Sixers here. I mean, he's playing like the best player in basketball right now, so you got to back the Sixers here. But specifically, I want the Joel Embiid over 33.5 points, minus 125.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's that's probably even better than laying the 3.5 with Philadelphia, is taking Joel Embiid over points. Houston and Memphis. We've got Memphis 13-point home favorites, 231.5 the total in this game. The Grizzlies, I'll tell you what, the competitive for 3 quarters against Golden State. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry they couldn't miss in the fourth quarter, and eventually Golden State pulled away. But still, this has been a competitive team. I mean, you look at the losses lately for Houston outside of the Brooklyn game, 9-point loss at Indiana, 8-point loss to Chicago. They beat Boston, the Lakers, and the Pelicans 3 in a row. They lost to the Pelicans by 10, and they lost to Golden State by 13 in their last game. So, right now this is a Houston team that getting this many points, I'd lean Houston honestly here. Now Memphis, we know that's the home record that's so phenomenal, 30-5. They are on their home court, but as home favorites here, some of these recent games, it's not always been them covering here on as home favorites lately. Dallas, they only won by 4 in their last 2 tries. They were home chalk against the Mavericks. It's a very, very big number. Houston tonight, by the way, it looks like they're going to have everybody, all the key contributors will play tonight. Porter, Green, Kenyon Martin, Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün, they're all in. Memphis, by the way, it looks like both Williams are out, Dylan Brooks out, Steven Adams out. So it's going to end. But Ja Morant for the Memphis Grizzlies, he is looking like he's going to be back here tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies, saying that they're expecting him back tonight for this game against Houston, starting with Bane, Conchar, Jackson, and Tillman for the Memphis Grizzlies. So we'll see. I mean, but again, does Ja coming back after all this time shake things up chemistry-wise? Perhaps, but I ain't laying 12.5 with Memphis. It's Houston or pass for me personally. What do you think here, Billy?
Yeah, I'm glad to see Ja Morant back and playing basketball. Happy for him. The interview with Jalen Rose seemed a little bit staged, seemed a little bit scripted, but who cares? He's back on the basketball court playing. So what? He totes around a gun when he's off the basketball court. Just don't do it on Instagram anymore. And why do you need to do that? But happy for him. Backwood ultimately for this one. I'll be sitting on the sidelines watching.
All right, there we go. So nothing for Billy here with the Rockets and the Grizzlies. You're right. Be careful of, if you're betting Ja Morant props, wait to see what exactly his role and his minutes are going to be, because you're right. There's some rumblings out there. He could be on a minutes limit, minutes restriction tonight, although some sites have him in the starting lineup, but doesn't mean he's going to get starting lineup minutes tonight in this game. So keep an eye on that tonight while this game unfolds. All right, we got 2 games left, Portland and Utah. Utah, 5-point home favorites, 234.5 the total here in this one. Certainly the over is the first thing that stands out between these two teams. Defense is not exactly what comes to mind when I think Blazers, Jazz. And you look at Portland, 4 of their last 5 games have gone over, 5 straight for you. I like the over. I mean, I don't even love a side. I mean, right now, laying points with Utah, I don't know if I want to do that. But it looks like Sexton and Clarkson still out. Walker Kessler, Kelly Olynyk, Lauri Markkanen is back tonight, and he'll be in the starting 5. Ochai Agbaji and Talon Horton-Tucker rounding out the starting 5 for Utah. And then on the Blazers side, it looks like Anthony Simons, Nasir Little, Jeremy Grant out for Portland. Lillard, Reddish, Thibault, Trendon Watford, and Yusuf Nurkic going to be the starting 5 for Portland. I don't want to lay points with Utah. Do I want Portland badly enough? I don't know. But Portland, the last few games, they've not played well. 0-6 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. The schedule has been tough, though. I mean, you look at Philly and Boston and New York and Boston again and the Clippers. So the schedule does relent. I mean, Utah kind of does feel like a bit of a step down in class for Portland based on who they've played lately. So maybe you lean Blazers, but I'm sticking to the total. That's what I like here over this number with the Blazers and the Jazz. What do you think here in this? Kelly Olynyk, by the way, has been playing well lately. I had props on him the other night. Flew over his props the other night for the Utah Jazz. So maybe Kelly Olynyk props might be worth a look here. Billy, what do you think?
Yeah, I want to lean towards the Blazers, but without Grant and Simons, it's really hard to get excited to put your money on that. They're 3-14.
You could always pop for 40, though. Yep.
You could always pop for 40, but they're 3-14 ATS last 17 games versus a team with a winning record, and 0-4 ATS last 4 overall. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what Lillard's doing. I mean, they're just not winning games right now. The Jazz are in a 4th game of a homestand, 3-1-1 ATS in their last 5 games, 5-1-1 in their last 7 games following a win, and 6-0 in their last 6 games overall. I mean, this is the stats and the data leads towards the Jazz heavily here. I'm not on the Jazz here in this spot, but I would probably lean towards the Jazz. Don't want to put it on a parlay ticket, though.
All right, last game here on this Wednesday slate, Phoenix Suns, LA Lakers, the second of the ESPN Wednesday NBA doubleheader. We've got the Suns, 1-point road favorites, 229 is the total in this game. Lakers, of course, trying to get to that 500 mark. Man, they are getting close, but every time they seem to get close to it, they stumble. It's like 1 step forward and 2 steps back, literally. That's what the Lakers seem to do. I mean, they beat the Raptors, Grizzlies, and Warriors. They lose to the Knicks. They beat the Pelicans. They lose back-to-back to Houston and Dallas. Then they beat Orlando over the weekend, 111-105. 0-3 ATS, though, for the Lakers in their last 3 games. Looks like tonight, of course, LeBron's out, but Anthony Davis likely to play here with for the Suns tonight. He only missed the Houston game. He's played the last 2, so Anthony Davis is back. I've been burned with the Anthony Davis points and rebounds lately. He's been falling short for some reason on this shit the last couple of games. So I'm going to put that to bed for tonight. But you look at this game here with Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton and Kevin Durant both out for the Suns, means that CP3, Devin Booker, Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig. Oh, and look who's the starting center tonight for the Suns. Our old friend used to play with the Pelicans, the Raptors, B squared, Bismack Biyombo. Is going to be the starting center tonight for the Phoenix Suns in this game. So a big opportunity for certainly that, if you buy into usage and opportunity, maybe you look at points and rebounds tonight for Bismack Biyombo. Certainly now the starting center. You got to think it's going to go up in both counts tonight against the Lakers. This one's a tough one, though. I think without Durant, without Ayton in this game, I like B squared. He plays hard. He really does. He does the best he can with his abilities, but he's still going up against Anthony Davis on the other side. And who would you rather have? I mean, so I kind of lean Lakers here, +1 in this game. And it is the Suns on the road. I know they're not Golden State level, but they're still a 6-game below 500 road team, this Phoenix Suns group. So don't forget about that. So I guess I'd lean Lakers here in this one. What do you think, Billy? Suns, Lakers?
Yeah, the Suns are going to be shorthanded again for this game tonight, and their recent form has really fallen off. While the Lakers are still playing somewhat of their best basketball of the year, even without LeBron. Austin Reeves kind of put the team on his back in a very impressive performance versus a gritty Orlando team. And that's been the theme of this Lakers team of recent. Their role players have been stepping up in very important moments. And I think tonight's the night to get back on the AD prop over 40.5 points and rebounds, -115. He's coming off a stinker Monday night versus the Magic, only scoring 50 points, but he's going over his point prop 2 out of his last 3 games, 7 out of his last 10 games. Earlier this year versus the Suns, he had 37 points, and that was with DeAndre Ayton on the floor. And without Ayton, I think you could expect a similar performance. The Lakers ranked 6th in the NBA since the trade deadline in rebounding versus the Suns, who are 15th in the NBA, but they'll probably be bottom 10 without DeAndre Ayton in the lineup. AD actually has the best center matchup on the slate for me today, so I'm back on the well with AD.
Typically, Star Child with the Lakers totals, he's asking about the total here. I like them better over the total without Anthony Davis. With him, the defense is better, pace slows a little bit. And they have gone under in 3 straight. So I don't love the total either way, quite honestly. Phoenix has actually been a strong over team of late. I will say that. Last time these teams played in Phoenix, it was 130-104. It did go over. So I could see it going over, but it's just not something I'm looking to bet here necessarily. Good stuff, though. Great card. It's a big card. Not a bad slate here for this Wednesday. Good opportunities. Shout out again to Dutch. Internet issues, but he'll be back tomorrow. He'll be in the host chair for the Thursday edition of the NBA Pub Up, so make sure you check that out. And a reminder, it's going to be Connor Mack and I at the top of the hour with college basketball net profit. It'll be a quick show. We're going to get you through the CBI championship and the NIT semifinals tonight. Just 3 college basketball games, but we'll break those down 5 p.m. Eastern, top of the hour. Hit the like button, 185 live viewers on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. We'll be back to wrap things up with Best Bets right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101, and manscaped.com. Promo code PubSports, 20% off and free shipping with anything on the site with promo code PubSports. All right, we got best bets to wrap things up. No freshest look today, unfortunately, because we got no Dutch, but best bets it is. Billy Briz, we'll start with you. Best bet.
Yeah, best bet for me tonight is going to be the LA Lakers +1. I think they're going to smoke the Suns tonight. And best player prop today, we'll go with Joel Embiid over 33.5 points. I mean, he's on a roll right now. 8 of his last 10 games he's gone over, and he's going to be your future MVP this season. Jokic, you're not getting this one. It's Embiid season. He's going to shit all over the Bulls tonight. And I don't think James Harden's going to be playing tonight, so I wouldn't mind the Maxey props.
Yeah, Maxey over points. Maxey made threes. I've cashed a couple of those with him lately. So maybe that's, and again, he's going to shoot more too with no Harden. So makes sense. All right, there you go. Billy Briz with a couple best bets. I'm going to give you 2 as well. I'm going to give you New York +2 against Miami. I like this as a bounce back spot for the Knicks after the loss at home to Minnesota the other night. And I still think right now, current form-wise, they're actually a little bit better than Miami. So Knicks for me +2 against Miami as best bet. And then the other best bet is going to be that over in the Portland-Utah game. I really like that one. Over 234.5, Blazers and Jazz. I think it ends up going over the total. So there you go. 2 best bets for me on this Wednesday edition of the NBA Pub Up. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for joining us. College basketball net profit, top of the hour. Hit the like button on the way out. For Billy Briz, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll see you again tomorrow on Thursday for another edition of the NBA Pub Up right here on Pub Sports Radio.